81, 21 Talk. We are back finally after how long?
3 months.
3 months. We just fell off the grid.
Nah, no, we ain't fell off the grid. We just got things going on. I had posted on Facebook the other day, right?
Right.
Hey, we were coming back soon. Y'all thought we was through, but we still here.
Yeah, we still here.
We still here.
We still here.
We still here. We still kicking.
Right. 3 months though.
Yeah.
And I prefer to come back audibly. Is that how you say that word? To come back
Audio.
Yeah.
Instead of visual.
Yeah, but we gonna get to that. But that's how we started doing it.
Yes.
And we actually a little freer, and we could talk, and you don't have to be watching like, I got X amount of time. We could just go on here. But so it's been a few months. We stopped. I think we were episode
2
of season
5.
So you want to make this season 6 or just finish?
No, it's season 5 all the way through the year.
Season 5, episode 3.
3. What are we talking about?
Ooh. What are we talking about?
Something about truth.
Something about truth. So, wow, this feels so weird to be back. It just feels weird. But yeah, so we're talking about truth. We're talking about truth. And before we start that conversation, let's hear from Darrell, our intro song.
Let's get it.
It's Al Miranda. You got to be more careful.
There's so much in my mind. What if you run out of time? Take it one step at a time. So many mountains to climb. I've been obsessed to grind, so I be one of a kind. So the car never declines. So the car never declines. There's so much in my mind. What if you run out of time? Take it one step at a time. So many mountains to climb. I've been obsessed to grind, so I be one of a kind. So the car never declines. So the car never declines.
Yeah. Lucy? We are back.
We are. We are back.
We are so back, and we got so many things to talk about. We had to filter and vet and get through everything. We can't talk about that. That might make somebody feel a certain way. Or it might mess with our livelihood. We don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that. But today's topic,
yes,
truth. So I did a little research, and I was digging around, and I actually found out that there's different types of truth. Right?
Which is crazy, right?
Which is
when you
crazy.
think about it, because what do they say? The truth is the truth.
It should be.
And the truth will set you free.
But not necessarily.
Okay. Get into it.
So where should I start? Top or bottom?
Well, first, how many types of truth is it?
There's 4 types of truth.
Okay.
4 types.
And what type of truth? What is it? What's it called?
Well, there's 4 types. And like I said, top or bottom.
Start from the top and the bottom, then expound on them.
The top is called objective truth. Objective truth, you don't need too many words to describe it. It's just a fact.
Okay.
There's no debating.
Okay.
Right? I don't know an example of what's a fact right now, but I'm sure you know. Let me move this mic a little bit.
The rain falls
closer.
from the sky.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a fact.
So it's a fact, right? No debating with that one. The next one is subjective truth. Gets kind of tricky right there.
Okay.
Subjective truth in a sense that something might be true to you. Like I was talking to Zarina, and actually was a room straight, and she said yes. Well, to her, it is. She told the truth. But to me and your standards, might not be. But we can't bust in the room like, you're a liar.
Right.
Because to her, that's the truth. I did what I know how to do, and that's it. It's the truth. Is that explainable? Did I explain that well enough?
Yeah, that's like saying, I would say, beets taste nasty.
Beets.
To me, they taste nasty.
Vegetables, beets.
Yeah.
Okay. And
to someone else, they don't.
Right.
But
Right.
it's my truth.
It's your truth.
My subjective truth.
I can't call you a liar.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not giving me an objective truth where beets are nasty. That means nobody likes beets.
Right.
But that's not true. Subjectively, you don't like them.
Exactly.
Got you.
Okay. Next one.
The next one is called a normative.
Okay.
A normative truth is when something has been done or stated within a group of people, whether just a group of people, a town, a village, a country, or even a philosophy, right? And what has been said has been accepted as
Truth.
truth.
That's crazy that you said philosophy, because I was sitting over here thinking about philosophy, society, norms. Yeah. But okay.
And one of the biggest examples is like, back in the day, people would talk about, well, you get caught stealing over there, they cut your hand off. But over here, that's immoral. But that's their truth over there,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So that one, normative, basically, if a group believe it,
It's
they
true.
think it's true.
Right.
Okay. So the last one is called a complex truth. That one's kind of complex. So,
Hence the word.
yeah. So whether, let's say if you went out and you heard a bunch of subjective truths, and then you formulate a truth based off those, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Usually in that case, it's when you're trying to formulate or come up with something to prove your point. So,
It's almost like writing a paper,
yeah, something like that.
because you have, I guess you would say, your thesis, right?
Yep.
And then you have to collect other points of views
Yeah.
to form your thesis, to support your thesis.
But it's two layers to it. Those other things that you grab might not be objectively true.
Exactly.
And then what you formulate from those might not be true. But
Right.
you're just using it to
Right.
try to validate
Yeah.
what you're saying. That one right there is kind of complex.
Complex.
But, I mean, yeah. So those truths. I mean, the thing that when I think about those those types of truths, I always try to apply to everyday life.
Okay. But why? What made you do this research on the? What was you thinking about when you said, "Let me look up what truth mean"? And
Liars.
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 Who lied to you?
There's a lot of people that lie, but sometimes I think they lie and they don't know they're lying. I think a lot of people, see, that leads into other stuff.
Is it maybe? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Some people lie to preserve something or someone's feelings. Like, I guess the best example would be a wife asking her husband, "Does this dress make me look fat?" And then
Right.
if the husband answered truthfully and say, yeah, that dress makes you look a little like, oh, I got the perfect example. You told me not to wear horizontal stripes.
Nobody should wear horizontal stripes.
You said those horizontal stripes make me look a little chunky.
Rounder.
Round,
It's like
whatever.
you have the
Right.
lines going around the circumference of your body, right?
Right. That was the truth.
Okay.
Did it hurt my feelings a little bit? Maybe. But you told me the truth. Now, some people will say, if I ask them, "Hey, how this shirt look on me? Does it make me?" And they will say,
High school.
nah, it's good.
Yeah.
But they knew that they was lying to me. But they lied to me because they didn't want to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that's sort of going into degrees of liars. We talked about that before. And well, first of all, I wanted to do something different when we came back. So I'm going to use this word. You got a liar and you got a bullshitter. Right? But I'm going to try to stay away from those two until later.
right. And we're just going to talk about these different types of truth.
Because I've always been amazed. Now, earlier I said liars, but I've always been amazed at how someone could stand in front of you and state what they're saying is the truth. When it's like, really?
And be upset with you when you don't agree with their truth.
When you don't agree with them, or you maybe fall back because it's like, bro, what are we doing here? Right? So personally, you know, I've come across people that, man, they might have some twisted views on life or values and how they, what is that called? Like how you govern your life, what governs your life, how you run your life, right? And them things might be twisted, but who am I to judge that? Right? Like we were talking.
Yeah, but is there a time that you can judge it? I mean, not judge it, but
who am I to even
know.
question it? Right? Because it's like we had in another conversation. When you're looking on the internet, you know that person behind that screen is a very good chance their life is not like they're projecting it. So, but to them, this might be fine. But what I'm talking about right now with these different types of truth, we know the 4 types because we just talked about them. At what point do you jump in? I'll be quiet and I'll let you. When I say jump in, at what point do you say, yo, you a liar or you bugged out? What point do you jump in? And who?
it depends on who the person is to you. And does that subjective truth of theirs affect you in a negative way?
Right.
So as we was talking before, like if it's someone on the internet that I don't know, I don't know, there's nothing that they say that has any effect on my life, my livelihood, anything like that, then I'll look at their stuff and be like, I don't care.
Right.
But if it's someone that we know, and what they say does affect me because now maybe that explains the reason why they act the way they do or whatever, something like that, then I have to look at it and be like, oh, okay. And then I might want to talk to them about it and see, why do you feel that way? And why is that your truth?
Right.
Then I might have to do that. But
so basically you're saying it depends on who it is.
It depends on who it is in that way.
And how it's affecting
your
personal.
Yeah, but that's with that subjective truth.
Right.
That normative.
Okay, let me double back though. You're saying that's subjective, but in this day and age of internet and people and fake it till you make it and all this crazy stuff, how do you determine what's an objective truth?
I don't know. It's hard.
It's tough.
It's hard. And then another thing is, like you just said, fake it till you make it. If someone is out there saying like, oh, you have to do this to have this, and that, or you have to look this way to have this and that, and you have someone that's impressionable like a child, and these children are watching these people on the internet and they think that they have to live their life exactly the same way the people on the internet is living theirs, and it changes that person's daily behavior, the way of thinking,
changes their world,
and everything. But it's affecting them in a negative way, because I couldn't get that word out. Then that's when you have to jump in and be like,
stop it.
That's not right.
Yeah. Yeah, but who's to say that your truth is the right way? Who's to say your truth is objective truth?
I don't know who is to say that, but all I can say is that you have to live your truth based on what is right and what is wrong, what is morally right and what is morally wrong, and ethics.
So what is morally right and morally wrong?
Yeah, see,
it goes
you just
down a
keep
rabbit
on
hole.
going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But then I guess that goes back to normative truth, right? Because it's what is normally accepted as right and wrong.
Societies and groups kind of decide what's moral and immoral in their setting. They kind of do that.
Yeah, but I don't know. It is tough because it's more like I think you have to go spiritual with it. you know in your spirit, in your soul, I don't know how you want to explain it, what's right and what's wrong. You know for yourself that I don't
It's
know.
tough.
See?
It's tough.
Yeah.
Because you could say this to Jeffrey Dahmer. You know, he got a spirit, he got a soul.
Oh,
He feels something.
he felt something just evil.
But
He felt pure evil.
then he might be saying it's not evil. That's what I mean. Like, where you jump in at? Like,
Yeah, but that's just evil.
It gets
That's nobody's right.
it gets tough.
Walking around killing people is not right.
Well, what I'm saying is when do you jump in? So it gets tough. So I kind of follow you, what you're saying. If it's someone that you are directly responsible for, like a child or something, you might want to try to create a normative truth within your tribe, right? And as far as you know, it's based on a moral understanding.
Right.
Now, the other thing you said, as the way I picked it up, was, okay, now your subjective truth is affecting me. We got to fix that,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we got to fix
So
it,
that's what you're saying.
or I have to acknowledge it.
I got to acknowledge, you got to give him a little
Something.
tap on the hand.
A little tap on the hand, or maybe it's compassion, depending on what that truth is.
I think if someone is spewing a lot of subjective truth, I don't think compassion is coming from me personally.
But wouldn't it depend on what that truth is?
At 57, our last podcast was called The Why Doesn't Matter. I'm still there,
There you go.
right? So it's like, okay, what are you doing here? Are you trying to warp my perception of reality with you in it? Like, but it's hard. And then it comes down, we spoke a minute, moral, immoral. Most of our truths at this age is based on moral or immoral.
Right.
Most of them.
But what if, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Let's go.
What if, I'm going to just use myself, right? So what if I come to you and I say, this is my subjective truth, right? I'm saying, I've had a hard time my whole life, and this is the reason why I act like this. Whatever the case may be, don't know who my father is, became a single parent unexpectedly,
Right.
Whatever those things are. And I'm saying, this is my truth, whatever. And I might be a little closed off because of everything I went through, blah, blah, blah.
So
would you not feel compassion towards me?
So what you're saying is you are letting me know why you are the way you are from your past.
Right.
Okay, so when I think about a subjective truth, it's when you know something is obvious orally and a person tells you it is not. It's
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm kind of going in another direction with it.
Right. So if
Okay.
someone came to me like you said, especially you, then we got to figure it out. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, but if you are telling me something like, man, you just a straight liar. Right. There we go with that word again. I don't like using liar and lazy.
What's crazy is,
But
we couldn't even say liar when we was younger.
no,
That was
it's like saying a curse word.
Yeah.
You can't go to your mother and say, you're a liar.
You couldn't call nobody a liar.
But I don't know with my mother, I don't know if I could have said, Mother, I think now you are spewing a subjective truth. I probably would still got hit.
Right. My children used to say, tell a story. You a tell a story.
Or you a story. Yeah. Or you
They
told
say
a
to
story.
tell a story. You a
be
tell a story.
Yo, you be telling stories.
But that was a noun. A tell a story
Right.
is a person who
But-
tells lies.
Right, but the point I'm trying to make is, sometimes, let's spread it out a little bit. Sometimes people will take something and make it a subjective truth only to sell what they're trying to sell. Does that make sense?
So what does that make that person?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
But
okay.
see, here's the thing. Let's use the internet because I think the internet is sitting at the center of everything. Social media.
These days, yeah.
So I go out and I fake it till I make it. Right. And I'm telling you all these things about myself that are not true.
Not true at all.
I don't like it when people will try to sell you that as a truth. And they'll hide behind a few things. First of all, we was talking about a subjective truth, right? And then the second thing they hide behind, I can say what I want to say. It's a free country.
It's a free
I
country.
can live the way I want to live and do what I want to live, do what I want to do. Well, my thing is, you can.
You can.
Just not here.
Right.
And I had the right to go back and go, psh,
Exactly.
get the out of here.
Yeah.
Right. So I look at all of that like that. You know, I've seen people that created a truth, which was a lie. And they created a truth, but they did it so much that they actually believed it. And that, is it a truth now? I don't know.
Would that be a complex truth?
I don't know what it is. and then they'll try to sell it to you. And even if, I'm sure you've done this before. You probably went somewhere or did something and somebody was doing something that was totally out of pocket. And you spoke on it. And maybe someone else in that group or around kind of beat you in the head with live and let live.
Right.
And whatever they do, it doesn't affect me. I don't care. I ain't got nothing to do with that. They can do what they want to do.
Yep. And there are situations where I can live and let live. And then there's other situations where I'm like, especially when that whatever they're saying is going to lead someone down the wrong path.
Lead someone down the wrong path or possibly leak over into your...
Yeah. And then I'm going to have to say something to you. But other than that, you...
Live and let live.
Live and let live, because I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. And what you do over there ain't got nothing to do with me unless it's directly affecting my life.
You sound like my mother. You ain't got a heaven or hell to put them in. And in some cases, most people don't have a pot to piss in.
Or a window to throw it out of.
Or a window to throw it out. So who made you the judge?
Exactly.
And
So
whatever.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying that when it, like you said, spill over into my life.
Now we got to talk.
Now we got to talk about it,
Right.
because or if you're doing a job and someone is giving out wrong information.
Right.
And giving it out like they know it's an objective truth.
But it's not.
But it's not.
Yeah.
And now you causing people to lose out on something
Right.
or whatever. Then, and I know that I know the truth, and I'm going to have to speak on it then, because what are you doing?
See, that reminds me of something. You was in the military for 22 years. The manual the rules, what's it called?
It's different route. UCMJ? UCMJ.
So there are UCMJ rules. Right? And you know what it is. Well, you should know. But I don't know what they call it in the Army Work Center. Your immediate people that you work with, those people.
Squad, platoon.
Is there anything
company?
in the UCMJ about leaving the base to go get Burger King? Anything?
I mean, not directly like that.
Okay, we get into it. So objectively, the UCMJ is the top of the charts. It's number one with a bullet. It's up there. Okay. But you being an E7, you might say, I like bagels when I come in, right? So I was about to say petty officer. So corporal, it's okay to go and get some bagels.
And I gave them permission.
You gave them permission.
Right.
You know that ain't the rule, right? But you made a second rule within that. If he goes to court martial for being caught off base, say he go out and have a motorcycle accident and whatever, and it all flows uphill. Well, we know flow downhill. I'm trying to flip it. It goes uphill. Now you're in trouble. You're in trouble. There's nothing that person can stand on. Nothing.
Nothing but my
You gave them the
NCO
order.
told me to go.
Yeah.
Right.
But none of it was right.
Right. Now, but if they went on their own without permission, then they in trouble.
That's a problem. So I say all that to say, without going all crazy and around, the thing is, according to that corporal, what Sergeant First Class you said is the truth. You said it.
There you go.
But is it the truth?
But is it the truth? Might not be.
to him subjectively, it came from right here, so he don't know. But objectively, the UCMJ says, when you in that workspace, you in that workspace. Your ass belongs to the United States military for the next 4 years. You know, I don't know what they call it in the Army. Is it liberty? When you get time off?
Leave.
You don't have to get that. They can keep you there. 4 years straight, every day, 24 hours a day. So leave was a
Privilege.
It is not a
Right.
It's not a right. But that's how it is. But what I'm saying is these other little things get added in at the bottom. And somewhere someone's not thinking it through. They'll take it as a truth. They get out and say, nah, man, they got to let you get something to eat. After formation, you can go to Burger King. And they'll spit that like it's a truth. I know I went around the bush, but you got what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way the world works. So you have people like myself, yourself, because I know that you're always looking for objective stuff. We have to deal with a lot of people that are twisting things, making things truths when they're not. And then when you get at them, they hide behind the word, well, this is my truth. Fuck your truth.
And then make you the bad guy.
And make you the bad guy for wanting them to produce more validation. It just make it make sense for me. Right? I have learned as I've gotten older to kind of back out of it. It's not worth it until it spills over.
Right.
And then I got to say something.
Right.
Can you imagine this? Can you imagine a father? Let's get dirty.
Okay.
Let's get dirty.
Okay.
Can you imagine a father has a child? 1968. So the child grows up. From 1968 to now is 57 years. But every time the conversation gets close to why didn't you take care or why did you do this or why weren't you around, that father starts to spew a whole bunch of rhetoric and nonsense.
He starts pontificating.
And blame.
Pontificating.
But here's what's scary. With that child looking at that father, they say he actually believes what he's saying. It's a truth to him. I try to level it out by saying there's always a bottom line. If your truth doesn't align with the bottom line, is it a truth?
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
A minute ago, we said moral, right? We were leaning toward what's right and what's wrong. Finish these sentences for me the way you describe what I'm saying or finish off what I'm saying. If you have a child, you do what?
Take care of him.
If you have a child, you be there.
For the child.
Exactly. Good or bad. Up or down. It's raining, the sun's shining like it is right now. Whatever, you're there.
To the best of your ability.
To the best of your ability.
And if all you can offer is emotional or mental support and you can't really handle the financial support, then you need to make sure you show up.
Right.
I mean, you need to be checking to see, hey, how you doing in school?
So
Or you need help with your homework?
So those are what I call baseline truths. Like those are the metrics.
Right.
I'm measuring you by that. You can say whatever you want to
Right.
say. You can be Socrates and you can spit all types of philosophy, but I'm measuring you by that baseline. And they used to call those metrics. What do they call those when you write a paper? Is it called a kubrick? A standard. You know, they look up a standard in papers. I can't think of it right now when you write papers. But I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that baseline. Okay, were you there? Did you pick up the phone? Did you take the child anywhere?
Especially when you present yourself as a leader and then always want to talk about how much you do for the children, but you don't do that for your own child. So then it leads me to question, why are you doing for others what you can't do for your own? So are you doing it because you really care about these children? Or are you doing it because you want to be seen and you want people to think that you care about those children?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, you know. So what you're showing me, is it all a mask or a facade? Mm-hmm. And when you open your mouth, now we get mask and facade, we get into the type person they are. But we're talking about truths. Mm-hmm. So is that mask and everything leading to a subjective truth in order for you to hide behind it and not do what's right? I hope I'm wording that properly. I hope anybody listening this far understands what I'm saying. It's weird. It is super duper weird. It's like, what are we doing here? You see, I've seen situations where people had parents and whatever, and it probably wasn't the greatest parent on the planet, but they were there.
They were there.
That's my baseline.
And they tried.
Yeah, they tried. But if you have a situation where a person has an excuse for everything, right? And then they add in these subjectives, the subjective truths.
And they deflect.
By saying things like, if anybody stresses me, I'm out. I don't have time for stress. That is my truth. Mother, if you don't get the out of here with your
right.
You understand?
I don't have time for stress either, but there's in some situations I have to deal with the stress.
You have to deal with it.
Especially with my children, because I brought them into this world. They didn't ask to be here.
Right. So me personally, my example also happens to apply to me. I've dealt with this for at least 50 years, because I'm going to say maybe the first 5 or 6 years, I already know the mother.
Right.
I don't know the person. But as you get older,
right,
13, 14, 15, you're like, what? 20, 21, 25. Then they show you something else. The reason I'm talking about this is because sometimes I'm unsure of a subjective truth is if it doesn't have base in their life. You understand what I mean? For instance, if someone says, I did not be with your mother because she was a jerk, right? I get that. But they were around you all the time. Y'all went to the movies. Yeah. Y'all played ball. He was at your games.
Right.
Then he said, I can't stand stress, and that's my truth. I got a baseline.
Right.
But if that's been said and there's no baseline stuff, I'm assuming you threw everything out. Well, they said baby with the bathwater. You threw all of it out. So I don't know if you just telling the truth, or you just, like we talked about on older podcasts, are you just justifying stuff?
Right. Okay.
So subjective gets kind of funny, right? Objective, there's no debating that.
Right.
This rug right in front of me is what color?
Purple.
There is no doubt. The chairs we sitting in right now are
purple.
There is no question. I got to be a special kind of stupid to go against that.
Or colorblind.
Well, we talked about that too.
Right.
Or colorblind. But that's objective. At the top, is there a guideline for objective truths? Let me give you a normative one, and then we're going to get out of here.
Okay.
Who is God? Uh-oh. What is God? Who was Jesus? Was there Adam and Eve? Now you see where I'm leaning in the whole Bible thing.
Right.
Was there Noah?
Right.
Was there Moses? Was there Abraham? Was there Jacob to Israel? Right? Are those objective or are they normative?
And and that would depend on who you ask.
Who you talking to?
Right.
8121 Talk.
Episode
3.
Season
5. We are here. We are back. I know we just rambling. There's going to be a few where we just go. We just rambling, and then you can take what you want from it.
Right. Leave us a comment. I mean, what do you feel? How do you feel about those 4 types of truth?
This Al Milandi has got to be more careful.